Today I'm featuring abstract painter Heather Robinson. She has a great artist statement on her About page, and I'd like to share it with you. Hey creatives! Welcome back for another 30-second scroll. I'm Jessica Gardner, communication coach at Artglish, where I help artists and designers to describe their work more confidently so they can feel seen, connect with their audience, and succeed faster. Today's featured portfolio is abstract painter Heather Robinson, and you can find her work at heatherrobinson.com. I discovered Heather's work through Instagram, and although I'm not usually big into patterns, I find hers totally entrancing. I really want to share Heather's site with you today because I think she has a fantastic artist statement. And a lot of the artists that I talk with struggle to write their artist statement and how to make it different from their bio. So I think Heather's site gives us a great example of how to make that distinction effectively. As always, the first job of your portfolio is to help you stand out and get noticed, even in a short amount of time. So I'm going to set my timer for 30 seconds and see what we notice. All right, what stood out for you? I'd love it if you'd leave a comment and share your thoughts. Although her whole site is beautiful, like I said, I want to focus on Heather's artist statement. But because I know some people talk about how can I make the distinction with my bio, let's take a quick look at that first. This is her first section of her About page, About Heather. And she's got this lovely photo, and then she just kind of gives, sort of what you would expect, a typical little description. She first tells us where she studied and talks about her passion for structure, her love for pattern and color, and her fondness for the imperfect. That's that sort of thing. General themes that give us a sense of what her work is about and why she makes it. She also mentions where her studio is and a few hobbies, and then finishes with her signature. So it's short and sweet, it's nice, it's personal, it helps us connect and get to know her, which is perfect. She's also got some article interviews here and a few videos, so it's all a nice introduction to her as a person. And then we take a look at the artist statement, and we see, it's not too long, just 3 paragraphs, that's great, and I think it's really nice the way she's broken it down. So the first paragraph, she starts by talking about what interests her and what her work is about. My painting practice is an exploration of surface through pattern, color, and texture. I have a magpie-like attraction to bright, colorful, decorated objects, but an orderly mind, a love for the grid, and a strong schooling from my architectural design studies to mistrust the superficial. These contradictory urges come together in my paintings. So right away, we learn a little bit about what's going on for her, why she makes these paintings, this contradictory struggle, and kind of what excites her about painting or what she's interested in. So that's a really nice way to start out. And then in the second paragraph, she talks a little more about her process. I work in many layers of acrylic media, starting with a piece of fabric at the base and adding elements both rigid, geometric stenciled repeats, offering a steady pattern and a raised texture, and loose and spontaneous, drips, washes, swaths of paint, cracked layers. I build up a rich surface over time with these contrasting components. The result is a sense of representation of my mental state while creating, a push and pull between order and disorder. So, as I said, she's giving us some insight into her process here. So it's interesting because, we can appreciate more what we're seeing. We can maybe imagine what it's like for her working in the studio. But then we're also seeing how these dueling forces, kind of play into her mindset as she's creating this work. So that makes it more interesting to engage with as well. And then in the final paragraph, she talks a little bit more about the meaning behind her work. This series, Pattern Seeking, is about optimism in the face of evidence to the contrary. In an increasingly chaotic and uncertain time, I paint to evoke positive emotions, even if I'm not always feeling them myself. The repeating textile patterns that serve as my inspiration are meditative and soothing in their regularity, a reminder of threads winding through history and my tiny place in the world. Striving to create a harmonious whole and beautiful finished object, putting down colors and patterns that interact with and weave into each other in a satisfying way, this all affects me for the better, and I hope it affects the viewer. So this is a really nice way to tie it all together, because she gives us some insight into what motivates her, why she does this work, what it means to her, and hopefully what it can mean to us as the audience. So, we can sort of imagine these themes and this push and pull she's talking about, whether it's between order and chaos, or positivity and maybe negativity, or the struggle is kind of what makes her work interesting. And so even though I was really drawn to her work before, having read this now, I feel like I have a deeper appreciation for what she's doing, both in her process and the meaning behind it. And that's exactly what you want to do in your artist statement, is help your audience appreciate and understand your work more deeply. I think also the way that she's written it is really nice, because she doesn't use too much industry language. It's not too artsy. She writes it in a way that's easy for everyone to understand. It's accessible for everyone. So that's really great, because connecting with your audience is what you want to do. So making it easy for everybody to understand, for your intended reader, is crucial. Also, it's also nice that she shows a couple of pieces here so we can visualize what she's saying as we read. We can read a little bit and be like, oh yeah, I see that. So a good idea as well. So if you're struggling at all with your artist statement, I think the way Heather has broken hers down in these 3 paragraphs might be a really useful way to start. If you're just not quite sure how to do it, use that structure and think of your own ideas that you can kind of use to help your audience connect in the way that she has. Because the second job of your portfolio is to do exactly that, to help you connect with your audience, to bring them to that next level of relationship. And I think Heather does this beautifully. I'm always looking forward to seeing her posts and videos on Instagram, but now I will be even more excited to see, because I know a little bit more about what she's doing. And if you'd like to follow her as well, you can find her account at HNR Fine Art. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have today. So if you're watching in YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're watching somewhere else, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to leave a comment, that would be great. If you're interested in featuring your portfolio, or you have a suggestion for one that you think is inspirational, you can email me at jessica@artglish.com. And if you're struggling to write your artist statement or about section or anything in your portfolio story, I encourage you to try my portfolio writing journey. It's a free email series with tips to guide you through the process, and you can sign up for that at artglish.com. Thanks again to Heather Robinson. You can check out her site at heatherrobinson.com for further inspiration, and all these links will be in the notes. Thanks again, and come back next week for another 30-second scroll.